A nationwide shortage of supplies used to detect bloodstream infections is impacting Kentucky. UK HealthCare is one of many hospitals feeling the deficiency.
WKYT's Lucy Bryson spoke to UK HealthCare's Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Kevin Hatton, about that matter. She's joining us in the Alert Center now. Lucy, what specifically is lacking?
Well, Victor and Kristen, Dr. Hatton shared with me that the shortage is specifically in blood culture bottles. These are bottles used to detect any type of bacteria or blood infection in blood samples. UK HealthCare buys their blood culture bottles from the manufacturer Becton Dickinson. That's the only manufacturer that they buy from. Therefore, the shortage comes from a lack of supplies on Becton Dickinson's end, not on UK HealthCare's. UK HealthCare is actively preparing for the worst case scenario, which could be as bad as a months-long shortage. Now, this sounds like something that should cause alarms, but throughout our conversation, Dr. Hatton made it very clear that there is nothing to be afraid of. As soon as they got word of the supply chain issues, they took action.
We now have two different manufacturers to use for blood culture orders. That creates an opportunity for us to ensure that we always have blood culture ordering availability to our patients.
The blood culture bottles ordered from this new manufacturer are set to be delivered on Monday and ready to use 1 week from that.